Hello, my favorite people. Welcome back to another episode of Literally What. I hope everyone has had an amazing start to their summer. You've been doing some fun things and are getting outside in the sun. If you cannot tell, if you're watching this on YouTube, had a little bit of a sunburn mishap and burned myself last week, probably in my top 5 worst burns. If you're a redhead, you understand. And if you're not a redhead, you won't understand the want to lay out and tan, but the reality that it's never going to happen to you and you're just going to burn. It sucks, but we're okay. We are on the mend. We're healing. And will I learn my lesson and prevent this from happening again? Probably not, but that's okay. That is okay. I hope everyone's doing amazing. We have so much to get into. I feel like the summertime is when all of the good shows come back. I have been binging so much TV, so we'll be getting into all of that. We have a ton of great stories. A little bit of housekeeping for you guys. We are now on TikTok, finally, and I'm going to be doing a lot more posting different clips on TikTok. I post some on Instagram, but I'm going to really focus on posting more, and I'll be posting probably a majority of them on the TikTok just so that my Instagram doesn't become just clips, but definitely go give that a follow. It's called Literally What Podcast, and it's not weird spelling. It's just Literally What Podcast. So go follow that for sure. I would really appreciate it. We did pass 500 followers on Instagram. You guys are so amazing. So if you're not following that, go follow the Instagram. And then again, I do post on YouTube with all of my episodes. So definitely go check that out. You can see my sunburn. The worst part was on my forehead, and it looked like I was shedding like my entire face, and I covered it up with a hat right now because I don't want you guys seeing that, so that's why the hat's on today. But yeah, I think that's all the housekeeping. TikTok, follow the Instagram, the YouTube. Even if you still like listening, you can still put the YouTube on in the background, so definitely go subscribe to that, and I would really appreciate it. I'm just in a good mood. Whenever summer comes around, I get really creative, I guess. I don't know why. I just feel like with the sun and like the warmer weather, maybe it's like the vitamin D. If you're a redhead, you do produce your own vitamin D. Isn't that kind of cool? But I just get like in a way better mood. I want to create like all these different summer recipes. 4th of July is coming up. I love doing different themed drinks and desserts and stuff for that. So it's just, I've been in a good mood. I've been in a trying to get back into a routine kind of mood. We were up back in Georgia a few weeks ago, and then we had some friends come down and stay with us for a few days. And then I was really just like in a deep cleaning mode, getting the house all ready because we have a pretty busy summer coming up. And whenever I'm not in a routine, my brain, I can't handle like doing different things all at once. So if I'm in a cleaning mode, I'm pretty much only going to be cleaning for days on end, and then I'll finally get back into my routine of doing the same thing. I am a very, very, very routine person. I wake up, pretty much do the exact same things. I follow a morning routine. I'm pretty much doing the same thing every day at the exact same time. And so when that gets out of whack, when I'm traveling or when, I have other things that come up, my brain like starts freaking out. And so I'm finally getting back into routine and it feels good. So we're back. It's summer. I've been watching all the shows, keeping up with everything pop culture, of course, and we're back and better than ever. So with all that being said, let's get into some hot gossip, hot take stories, and advice that will have you saying literally what? Okay, you guys, so much to talk about. Oh my goodness. I'm also at a point where I'm not really on social media as much anymore. Obviously, I'm on there looking at things to talk about to you guys, and I love posting stuff for my podcast online. But as far as it comes to me, especially Snapchat and even my personal Instagram, it's almost like a chore. I feel like responding to people, I love talking to my friends, but then it has a streak aspect, and then I'm like, I have to respond to you in 24 hours or like, we're gonna lose the streak. And then it feels like a chore, and then I just forget to do it, and then I feel bad, and then it's just a whole thing. And Instagram, I just feel like now I go on and it's all ads or reels from people I don't know. And so I don't know. I wish if in a perfect world, I would still obviously have TikTok. I don't count as social media. I count that as just like, I don't know. I just won't talk about that. But Snapchat, Instagram, if we could collectively all delete Snapchat, because I feel like if only I deleted it, I would get way too much FOMO. I wouldn't be able to see what my friends are doing. I wouldn't be able to like see my friend's face daily, but I also like, it just seems so annoying. I don't know. I'm just over it. And maybe it's because I'm like getting up there in my 20s, but I don't know. It's weird. Like, I'm a big texter, and I'm a big sending you TikToks and memes on Instagram, and that's pretty much my modes of communication. And I don't know. Let me know if you guys feel that way about Snapchat, because I don't want to just be me to delete it, because all my friends are on there still. So if we all deleted it, I'll still send you a picture of my face like through iMessage or something, you know? Or like Instagram DMs. That could be kind of cute. Who knows? Who knows what will happen if Snapchat will end up, you know, not becoming a thing anymore. But that was my Taylor thought of the day. So, news stories. There's like so much to talk about, because there's a lot that's going on with all the different shows that have come out, but then there's also just regular pop culture news. So trying to get everything into this episode that I want to catch you guys up on. There's a lot of stories that are really about one thing, and then the other one is a total 360. Or is it 180? 180, I think. Because if it's a 360, it's the same thing, right? I don't know. But don't worry, if you're not interested in the first or the second or the third story, one of them I'm sure you will definitely be interested in, because they're kind of all over the place today. And I feel like a lot of times my stories kind of have a theme. Today, all over the place. All right, so let's get into our first story, which is Dolly Parton announced from the stage of the CMA Festival that she is going to be bringing a new musical inspired by her life and trailblazing career, and it's going to be titled Hello, I'm Dolly, and this is going to be on Broadway starting in 2026. I am so excited for this. If you don't know me, I am a theater girl at heart. I did theater from second grade all the way through my senior year of high school. Broadway shows, I've seen so many. I mean, I've probably talked about the Broadway posters behind me right now, or in front of me that I'm looking at behind you guys. Musicals and just anything theater, it's up my alley. So when I saw this, I also love Dolly Parton. I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be amazing. So she said, I've written many original songs for the show, and I've included all of your favorites in it as well. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll clap, you'll stomp. It truly is a grand old opera. Pun and fun intended. Don't miss it. So I think this is going to be absolutely amazing. And I really don't know much about her life when she was younger, and I feel like we also don't really know a lot about her personal life. I know she doesn't have any children, and she's been married for years and years and years, and they're pretty private. So I think this is going to be really interesting. And really, when I grew up, the reason I knew her was from Hannah Montana. So if you watch that, you know. And now that I'm older, you know, I've seen all she's done in her career and how she's still literally kicking it. So I'm excited for this. This is going to be really exciting for her, and I can't wait to see how it is. Especially with her, 9 to 5 on a Broadway stage. Hello. Jolene on a Broadway stage. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So go Dolly Parton. Can't wait. I'll be buying tickets. Alrighty, next story. Bridgerton has come out, all parts of season 3. I'm not going to recap the season at all, but there's been a lot that has come out from the season, and after the season fully has come out on Netflix, there's been some drama, and we're going to talk about it because I love gossiping, okay? And you probably do too if you're listening to this podcast. But we know that Bridgerton came out, and the big thing was #Pollen. Penelope and Colin are now a couple, and everyone ships them together, and we know this is how it goes with shows and movies, that whenever there's a couple, the whole world's going to ship them and think and hope and pray and want them to be together in real life. And a lot of times they will push into that for press and to kind of hype up the show. We saw that with Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell. You know, they lean into that because that gets a lot of hype for people to want to watch whatever is premiering. So everyone obviously loved the real actor and actress who played Penelope and Colin and shipped them together. And the night of the premiere of part 2 of Bridgerton, there were paparazzi photos taken, and basically Nick, who plays Colin, he was out with this young, hot model girlfriend. I don't know if she's a model, but she looked like one. And yeah, there was a whole photo shoot of them together, and it came out the night of the premiere. And again, I don't know how paparazzi works. I don't know if it was intentional. A lot of people speculate that he wanted people to see, like, you know, I'm not with her, I'm not with Penelope, I'm with this girl, and, you know, so there's a lot of speculation about that. And I think it's interesting that the night of the premiere he was out with her and got paparazzi photos taken. So I don't know, it seemed a little suspicious. And then there's the other side of, like, why are you guys mad that he has a girlfriend in real life? And I think a lot of people, the issue was, you know, it was on the night of the premiere, and now people are talking about them coming out together and not the premiere of the show. And I don't know. I don't know what to think. I think obviously he has a girlfriend, like, that's not the issue, but I think it is weird that the photos were posted and taken the night of the premiere, and then it drew attention away from the storyline of Colin and Penelope. And I think if it was at a different time, it would have been like, oh, okay, whatever. And you know how us girls are, like, we read into everything. And yeah, do I think he called the paparazzi on himself? No, but I think that it's a little shady to do this on release day. And that's all I'll say about that. So that was the first kind of drama that became of this premiere of the second part. The other thing that happened is there is a huge fan petition that has come out, and I saw this on Dumois. So basically, in past seasons, the main couple of that season, who the storyline is following, has majority of the screen time and majority of the lines, you know, as they should. And apparently in season 3, there's not as many scenes and time with Colin and Penelope that people had hoped for. So basically, there is now a petition that is demanding Netflix to restore. Apparently there's 2 or 3 scenes with Colin and Penelope, and they were deleted from the show, and they are basically petitioning for them to bring them back and release them separately or put them back into the original episodes. And so this petition started from when you guys are seeing this podcast, probably 4 or 5 days ago. It already has 50,000 signatures. And it's now getting like 20,000 daily. Like, it's getting more and more and more people signing it. And a lot of fans just feel like the show isn't doing justice to the relationship of Colin and Penelope. And you also have to think that the Bridgerton series is also a book series. And apparently there is a lot of things that are not correct. And if you are a book lover and, you know, have watched a movie that is from your book, like my husband is reading the Harry Potter series right now, and he is like, it's insane how different the movies are from the book. And so just like this, I haven't read the Bridgerton series, but I know there's a lot of, discrepancies or differences. And so people are really pissed off about this, and they want all the scenes to come back. So they did reach their goal of 50,000 signatures. I think now it's up to 75,000. I don't know what it is now, but there's a lot of scenes that were deleted, and people know this, I guess, from the book. And I don't know how they know that these were deleted scenes and filmed. Again, I'm not a crazy, I don't want to say they're psycho, but I'm not a super crazy Bridgerton fan. I watch the show, and if there's more scenes, I'd be happy to watch them. But I didn't know there were more scenes. So, a lot of Bridgerton drama. It's interesting. It's, I feel like when I watch a show, I don't really think about what goes on after a premiere. If the camera is shaking, if you're watching this, my dog is like literally trying to lay under my carpet. I don't know what she's trying to do. That's not going to come up, silly girl. Anyway, so Bridgerton, I loved it. Penelope's a redhead, so obviously I'm biased towards her, and redheads got to stick together. So if you've watched Bridgerton, definitely let me know. And we'll see if they release these scenes and how many signatures this petition is going to get. Because it's kind of, I haven't really heard of petitions in a while. So there we go. Next story is about The Voice. I had to pop it in here because I used to be a huge fan of The Voice. And then whenever all of the OG judges in any show, especially American Idol, America's Got Talent, whenever the original judges leave, I just really don't care anymore and don't watch it. But one of the OGs is returning, and that is Adam Levine. He will be returning to the spring 2025 season, and he will be alongside Kelsey Ballerini, so it'll be her first year, which I think she will be amazing. I love her. John Legend and Michael Bublé. So interesting. I feel like The Voice, though, is always changing their judges, and it's kind of weird to me. I know when Blake Shelton left, I think he was the one that was there the longest, but I feel like a lot of times the judges leave, come back, and I'm like, that's so odd. And I know a lot of celebrities have talked about, like, The Voice is something you go on when your career is kind of not necessarily on the rise and just kind of something to do when you're just kind of, like, plateaued. But Kelsey Ballerini, to me, I feel like her career is way on the rise. I don't know. Anyway, so when he left, I think he left back in 2019, Adam Levine said that it was time to move on and said that his time on the show was a life-changing experience that will be close to his heart forever. And it's the right time for him to go. And now he's coming back. So, there we go. I probably won't watch it because I have too many shows on my plate right now. But it's interesting. So, anyway, alrighty. Okay, our next story is something different that I don't really talk about, and it is a crime-related story. I do love crime. Crime Junkies podcast. I love you guys. I love a good documentary about crime. I'm obsessed with crime. I love it. And this story, my friend sent it to me, freaked me out, especially because I watched a show that kind of had the same concept years ago, and it freaked me out. And then to see that it's now happening in real life, I was like, oh, okay. So FBI is hunting 500 serial killer truckers who are loose on America's roads. And there is a favorite highway that they are finding their victims. And they use the trucks as mobile torture chambers. Okay. I hate big trucks, 18-wheelers in general, just getting next to them. One time when I first got my license and was merging onto the highway, one of them almost ran me off the road. Like, I hate them. I don't like driving with them. It's awful. This just gives a whole other level of stay the hell away from these trucks, okay? So basically, how this all came to be, there was a long-haul driver, his name was Bruce, and he was at a truck stop in Nashville, Tennessee, and an FBI agent or homicide detective went up and approached him. Basically told him that they were hunting for a serial killer and were just asking him questions because they found a woman who had been murdered and found in a dumpster. And then they were finding other victims, and then there were, what did it say? Yeah, nearly 1,000 women who the police have been finding and believed to have been murdered by long-haul truck drivers. Ugh. And it's so scary to me because whenever, like, I'm driving, I'm pulling off to, like, a rest stop and there's a ton of trucks there, and it's like, oh, so, like, I'm not doing that anymore, because if there's 1,000 women that they found that they think is connected to just these truck drivers, that is honestly terrifying. So they finally got a break in this hunt. And he was a 56-year-old driver. found everything inside his truck, and, just a lot of gross stuff. You can look it up if you want to read more into it. But basically, it's just saying that, like, the highway serial killing thing has been something that's been in the world for a long, long, long time. And, a lot of people don't really think about it, but highway serial killings, it estimates that between 500 and 600 truckers could be implicated in a ton of murders over the past 30, 40 years. And there's just been so many women who've disappeared or found along interstate routes. I mean, whenever I'm listening to a podcast, it's a lot of the time some woman's been found off the interstate dead. And it's like, this is just, it's terrifying to think about. It's just terrifying to think about. So, just for anyone who is stopping at the rest stops, I would stop off an exit somewhere a lot safer. And they also apparently, like, people who pull off at rest stops, it's kind of secluded because you can really get on and get off only one way. And so a lot of these truckers are targeting women and then also, like, younger couples, which I'm a woman, I'm also married, and we're young, so we're younger couples. So I told my husband, I was like, we are never, ever, ever stopping at a truck stop, at a rest stop. I will be stopping somewhere where there's a lot of people and where there's a lot of exits and entrances. But I think it was just the number that the articles have been saying that they found is just crazy. And I forget what the show is called, but it came out on, I believe, Max a couple years ago. And if you know what it is, let me know. It was basically this man, and he was driving this 18-wheeler truck, and then two girls that were younger cut him off on the highway, and then he chased after them and then grabbed them and, like, it was a whole thing. And then it made me even more scared of these 18-wheeler trucks. And then this came out, and I was like, oh, it's scary to think about, because it's like there's so many things to be on the lookout for in the world, and, like, so many evil people in the world. And then you hear more things of areas and just things to look out for, and it's like, oh my gosh. So anyway, just prayers to also all the families who have lost their little girl, or, it seemed like a lot of the victims were women. So anyone who's lost that, that's, it's just so sad to think about. So let's go to a happier note. Well, this isn't a happier note, but it's kind of on the same line of things to look out for. Shark attacks. We've seen all the videos. The sharks are coming close to shore. They're getting a little too comfy. And I believe it was June 7th when the first attack came, and there were a few people who were injured. And so there were a couple shark attacks on the beach. And then there's just been a lot of social media things coming out of, like, we saw a shark coming up to the shore here, and then it's like at different beaches. All these sharks have been spotted. And anyway, from what I've read, and again, I'm not an expert on this at all, but some people believe that first of all, people are complaining that we shouldn't carry the sharks there because it's their home, and why are you freaked out that the sharks are close to the shore? Because first of all, like, sharks don't really hang out by the shore of the ocean. I'm sure if they did occupy that daily, people really wouldn't be in the ocean ever. Like, they're just I don't know where sharks live, but I'm pretty sure they don't live on the shore of the ocean. So it was just weird that there's been all these instances at different beaches where sharks have become so close to the shore. I think my friend sent me a video about, there was some in Seaside. There was obviously the one at the Gulf. So West Palm Beach, are just, like, everywhere. And so the issue is they're coming up so close to the shore. So that's where it's like, this is a little weird. But a lot of people think it is because of the presence of orcas or because of the heat. And it has been a lot hotter than normal down in Florida. Other people are saying that the heat and the orcas have nothing to do with it. We don't know. All I know is I'm staying the hell out of the water. Well, now I am, because last week when we had our friends up here, we were down at the beach, and I had heard about a few of the shark attacks, but the ones that I heard of were on the East Coast, and we were on the West Coast near, like, Clearwater area. And no joke, we were in the water. And we look over, and we had been at the beach like a few hours at this point, and there was some kind of animal, and it had, it looked like a shark. It had the little thing on the back, and I was like, oh my gosh, like seriously, they're literally everywhere. And then they looked at it closer, and apparently it was a dolphin. I don't know if they were just telling us that to make us feel better, but I saw it was either a dolphin or a shark really close, and I was touching, and I'm like 5'3", so we weren't that far into the ocean, and we could see it there just floating around, having a grand old time. So this is just my reminder to everyone to just be safe and be cautious and be aware of what is swimming around you, and that these sharks are getting a little too comfy up there, and just be aware if you're going to the beach. I mean, it's summertime. I probably won't be going in the water, deep in the water, really. But yeah, just be on the lookout. And that is why I pretty much try to only go to beaches where I can see my feet and see what's around me. I don't really want to go in water and not see what's under my feet, because that just like, no thank you, especially now all the sharks. So just be on the lookout. Again, yes, sharks do live in the water, but to have this many sightings and this many attacks, just be cautious, everyone. Be cautious. Also put your sunscreen on. That's just me talking to myself, honestly. Yeah, so there's your warning. Watch out for 18-wheelers and watch out for sharks. The world we live in. Our next story is a little bit of divorce news. I feel like we haven't had divorce news in a hot minute, but Billy Ray Cyrus files for divorce 7 months after getting married. It's just kind of like, I don't know. I wasn't shocked when I saw it, but I also didn't realize he had been married for only 7 months, I guess. And she was really young, so maybe it just didn't work out. And, it was just, I know it was a whole thing. I know the Cyrus family, they're a mess. So anyway, I did see a comment though, and it was like, well, at least they made it longer than Gary and Teresa from The Golden Bachelor. And I was like, honestly, yeah, they did. And it also got me thinking back to Gary and Teresa. Since they got divorced after 3 months, I wonder if it was in a contract that they had to wait a certain amount of time before announcing their divorce. Is that a thing? Does anyone know? Because that kind of makes a lot of sense to me, because it was really quick, and I'm like, what if they actually like got divorced like way sooner but had to announce it after a 3-month mark? Like that, honestly, I would believe that. Yeah. These stories are just all over the place. So let's get into our next story, which I'm kind of excited about because it's one of my favorite shows growing up, one of my husband's, probably one of yours. And that is that Phineas and Ferb is going to get a reunion revival show, and it's going to take place 1 year after the original series ended. So it's going to basically be a 5th season of the show. I think there's only 4 seasons if this is the 5th, yeah. And so they're going to be coming out with a 40-episode series. So that's exciting. I actually just rewatched Phineas and Ferb like a few months ago. A lot of times if I'm just like needing a background show, I'll put a show on that I used to watch as a kid. And since I was getting into the summer months, I was like, oh my gosh, like, 104 days of summer vacation. And now they're coming out with a 5th series. And also looking back at just like Disney Channel shows in general, they were really only 3 seasons. Like they were not long shows. And growing up, I felt like the shows, just Disney Channel in general, there were so many of them and went on for a long time. But in reality, they didn't. And that's why I'm like, as I get older, time definitely gets faster as you get older. Because when I was a kid, a 3-season show, I'm like, wow, this is going on forever. There's so many episodes. And then I can rewatch a season in a day. So I don't know. It's kind of sad to look back and think about, I miss childhood and how time went by so slow. But I'm excited for this. And it'll be the same creators. It'll be the same cast. So nothing's going to get switched up. And I think this is going to be so, so, so good. I think it'll be a great thing for them to do. And now the theme song is going to be stuck in my head for the rest of the night. Okay, our next story I thought was really, really interesting, especially for me because I relate to this so much. Like the very essence of me is this. So I saw a TikTok video, and it was talking about floor time. And you may be thinking, oh, floor time, like a baby getting tummy time? No. So research basically shows that lying on the floor can help you feel less overwhelmed. And it's called floor time. And so it was basically saying, like, if you're feeling stressed, just like go lay on the floor. And in my head, I was like, I have been laying on the floor my whole life. If I am anywhere, I will be on the floor. Growing up, I was always on the floor, head on the base of the couch, or I was just laying on the floor. If I'm at a friend's house and there's chairs and couches, I will be on the floor. If I'm anywhere, I'm always on the floor. And I never understood why. And people would always be like, why are you sitting on the floor? Like, just sit up here. And I'm like, no, I'm comfy down here. Like, I love this. And this makes sense because it's comforting and helps you feel less overwhelmed. And as someone who struggles with anxiety, like, this makes so much sense. And so everyone was kind of like, well, if you have anxiety, like, you've already heard of floor time. But now that there's research that has come out, it's like, oh my gosh, that is so crazy. Because I know about floor time. I've been doing floor time 24 years. And let me tell you, I didn't need a research study to tell me that it causes you to be less overwhelmed because I already knew. Anyway, if you're feeling overwhelmed, everyone, just lay on the floor. There you go. Floor time. I just, like, when I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, the amount of people in my lifetime who have been like, get up off the floor. Like, why are you on the floor? And I'm like, listen to, like, look at this. This is why, because it's comforting and I love it. Anyway, floor time. There you go. Okay. Our last stories are pretty much just a little TV recap because a lot has come out. Well, really only 2 shows to recap, and that is Summer House and Love Island. Summer House is going to be pretty quick because really the only things they touched on were Lindsay and Carl's breakup and Wes and Sierra. I mean, it really wasn't anything that crazy. I do believe they are going to be filming another season together, which good for them. Like, I'll watch it because I think this season did really well for them. But just like watching the finale, and I think Carl knew all along he was going to break off the engagement. I think everything was very calculated, and I do believe Lindsay was blindsided in the break off of this engagement. You know, no matter what Carl says, no matter what everyone else is trying to tell her, it was calculated. You can go back and watch the season. You can go back and just looking at his demeanor, like, he's just so shady. And, you know, I really do think Lindsay did want to get married. And, you know, he was her best friend. And a lot of the season, he was blaming her for being a certain way. And she was like, but we've been best friends for years. Like, you know, this is how I am. So for you to sit here and say, you don't like this about me, you knew that about me. So it's not really making sense. And I do feel really, I feel so bad for her. But, you know, the whole time it was just everyone, I feel like, supporting Carl and just saying Lindsay's crazy. Also, to me, like, Kyle giving advice and Amanda giving advice, like, their relationship is awful too. Like, their marriage is not all amazing and great. So anytime they're trying to give relationship advice, I'm like, just shut up, because y'all are far, far, far from perfect. And there's a lot of rumors that you're gonna get, like, it's just, you know, it's just shut your mouth. Like, that's all I have to say about that. And then the whole Wes Sierra thing, basically Wes and Sierra broke up, and Wes just kind of wants to pursue, you know, other women because he was going to get off from the show and have all these women in his DMs. You can't blame him for that. And I know Sierra's a person who, if you've watched her on Bravo and just like in Summer House and Winter House, she goes pretty much for the guy that's going to give her attention and ends up getting hurt. And then she falls for them. And then they're like, I don't really want a serious relationship with you. So I think she needs to find someone off of TV, off of the Bravo world. And they're probably going to be a much better match for her. And if she gets back with him next season, I'm going to be so mad at her, because she does deserve better than that. And she needs to be with a man who is not a reality TV star, because she's been hurt way too many times. But, you know, at the end of the day, I do think season 9 is renewed. I think everyone who was on season 8 is coming back. And Carl and Lindsay, they weren't meant to be. I think that they will be way better as friends, but I think the way he handled it was awful. And I think the way that everyone is kind of siding with Carl is also not great. And if any of the other girls, if this was happening to them, you know, Lindsay would be on their side. So I don't know. I think next season will be interesting. And yeah, that's Summer House for you. And then Love Island USA. Can I tell you guys, I have been obsessed with Love Island. I think I watched Love Island, but not the USA version, maybe 1 or 2 of the seasons a long time ago. And then I started watching this one because Ariana was hosting it, and she's honestly killing it. She looks so hot in all her outfits. I'm obsessed with her. But this season is so good. And I didn't know Love Island, they have like 30 to 40 episodes, and they come out every single night, you guys. Like, it came out last week and there's already 7 episodes. The 8th one is coming out tonight, like Tuesday night. They come out every single night. So you literally do not have to wait a full week. There's always so much going on. I am so obsessed with the show. And I went back and started watching the previous season, and I'm obsessed with that season as well. And you guys have to watch it if you are not watching it. There's 7 episodes so far. It's every single night. You can vote on the app of like your favorite couple, and that is what I will be doing. So I don't want to spoil too much of it, but this is your sign that like I'm going to start recapping and giving my take on the show, catch up. But basically, if you have seen it, this man, I'm trying to find his freaking face so I can just like, yeah, Rob. I'm looking at Rob right now. He's the worst. Basically, he's been in a couple with a girl named Leah. They are so perfect together. Everyone is obsessed with them. And then they brought in a bombshell, and he's like, yeah, I'm open, and kissed her. And like, it made my stomach like nauseous. Like, watching this show, like, you will get so emotionally invested, and like, it physically hurt me, like, watching the episode last night. And then I even know tonight, like, they're recoupling. So basically, if you haven't seen Love Island, you know, guys and girls, they're all hot. They all get together, get to know each other, and they all couple up. And then they see if it works. If it doesn't work, the public can watch and vote for their favorite and least favorite couple to vote people off. And what I didn't know is that Love Island, it's filmed, like, only a few days from when it actually premieres. So, like, it's still going on right now, and that's why you can vote, like, in the public eye, because, like, they're there right now. It's just, like, we're behind a few days. So, the show, like, you have to watch it because, like, I need to know y'all's opinions. It's, like, crazy. It's so crazy. But basically, I hate Liv. Rob, like, I hate him too. I honestly just want Leah to leave him because you just have to watch. Like, he's such a snake, and he's a snake wrangler, so it matches that he is a snake because he works with snakes. Oh yeah, Kaylor. I like Kaylor and I like Aaron. I really hope they stay together. I don't know if they will for the full season, but they work really well together. I think they're really, really cute. I don't know if they would get together outside of the show, but they work really well, and you can tell they are really best friends. It's just, like, it's so sad, the show, because I get so invested, and I know they've only been there, like, a week right now, but, like, whenever a couple breaks up, I get so mad, and I know it's, like, that's the point of the show, and if they didn't, then the show would be really boring. Like, that's the point. Like, I love the drama, and, like, the audience loves the drama of, like, someone new coming in and, like, trying to steal, like, a guy or a girl, and, you know, that's what makes the show interesting and entertaining. But when it comes to Rob and Lee, I don't know why, like, it makes me so mad. Like, ugh, you guys, like, you need to watch it. And, like, I'm just, tonight, if he recouples with the other girl, honestly, I hope he does, because he doesn't deserve Leah, but I hope that they bring in another guy for Leah. So hopefully that's what happens tonight. I hope. But yeah, definitely watch Love Island if you haven't already, and then we can, like, totally catch up on everything. It just, like, the episodes come out so fast, and I didn't realize that. Like, it's an everyday thing. They do get breaks on Saturdays, though. They go to the beach, so there's no episodes on Saturdays, but, like, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we get a new episode. Like, we are being fed from these producers, and, like, I didn't know that, and now this is, like, one of my top shows. I'm, like, binging the previous seasons. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do our Literally What segment really quickly. We had a really good submission, and it kind of had to do with what I was complaining about earlier. But they wrote in, "Hello, Literally What podcast. I'm kind of in a pickle. I've been trying to get off of social media." Like, literally, me. That's what sparked the combo. I'm trying to get off of more social media. I really want to delete Snapchat because it takes up a lot of my time. I'm constantly on there, and also comparing, seeing all my friends doing stuff every single weekend night, and I'm not. Is it bad to delete it though? Because I feel like if I do, I won't be able to talk to my friends anymore or see what they're doing, and then my social life will really die down. Again, like, that's why I'm saying I wish that we could all collectively like delete Snapchat. I would, especially if it's just hurting you seeing other people doing things, I would just try to eliminate going on the stories. Maybe like you can mute stories, I think. So mute all the stories of people who, like, when you see them doing stuff, it kind of upsets you, and just kind of focus on, you know, following what your best friends are doing, and like only Snapchatting your best friends, and setting like a time limit on your phone so that you're only going on Snapchat maybe like once at night before bed, or once in the morning, or once in the afternoon, and then just kind of going about your way. But if you think it'll help you to delete it, then just delete it. Like, who cares? You know, I feel like everyone's going to get to a certain point where they're kind of done with certain apps. And if you don't want to fully delete it, like, just try to find ways to not be on it as much and not letting it affect you. I know for me, like, especially when I was in high school, on Instagram, that was a big thing, because back in my day, people a lot of times were posting on Instagram, and like, I either wouldn't be invited, or I just like, you know, I just wasn't doing something that night, and it would upset me. And it's like, you have to remember too that people are only going to post stuff when they're doing something exciting. Like, no one's going to be posting really, like, if they're having a boring day sitting in bed, maybe on like their private story, but it's a highlight reel. Like, Instagram is a highlight reel. I feel like Snapchat stories is a highlight reel. Like, that's not what their life really is like. It's just kind of, you know, when they want to post, and when their life's looking fun. So you also have to keep that in the back of your mind. But if you want to delete it. And honestly, you probably will feel a lot better not having to worry about it. But yeah, thanks for writing in. And you can always write in an update to anyone who has written in the past, because I would love to read them, because I'm just so nosy. But I think that's everything I had to talk about today. I love you guys seriously so much. I have said it before, but when we hit 1,000 followers on Instagram, I am going to be doing a really fun giveaway. I know we like have a ways to go, and it's not about the numbers, but when I do get there, I want to show my appreciation to you guys. The YouTube, make sure you've subscribed. The TikTok, please, because I'm going to be posting a lot of clips on there, and getting back into that routine. So I think that's everything. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love you so much. Go watch Love Island. Go watch it right now. And I will see you next time for some more hot gossip, hot take stories, and advice that will have you saying literally what. Bye, guys.